Hello everyone, welcome back. So today I'm going to show you how to make this. This is, first we have a little deer antler button with a leather lace, and you unroll this and it's wax canvas, and in this first compartment we have ourselves a magnifying glass. And in this middle compartment, we have some char cloth. And in this one, we got some fat wood. Some little tiny pieces of fat wood. So I'm basically calling this my wax canvas solar kit, or my rolled wax canvas solar kit. So if you want to see how I make this, I'll get to it right now. Alright, so I have a piece of duck cloth, which is just canvas, and this is approximately, let me get you some measurements. Alright, so this piece is 7 1/4 by 7 3/4, just a scrap I had. So I got some cardboard down, I have a piece of paper towel underneath that, and I'm just going to take these 2 pins and just place them in there to hold it. Alright, so I got some of my wax here. It's like a Greenland mix, they call it. It's about, this mix is probably about 80% paraffin and 20% beeswax. And just a little foam adapter. And my heat gun. So now I'm going to heat up the cloth a little bit and start putting the wax on. Alright, now if you notice, it's nice and wet. And if you could see here, I'll try to zoom in a little bit. Got a little too much wax, okay? So what the next step is, for me anyway, take my pins out. Move that out of the way. See all the wax that holds? So I'll take another piece, place it down, and I got a good spot right there. If you can see, it's kind of wet. So I'll take an extra piece, fold this up. Now hopefully you can see the difference. See over here I didn't dab it, over here I did. So this is perfectly saturated. You don't want it too saturated. So I'll do that to the rest of it and I'll bring you back. Alright, so it's all dabbed. You'll see it's pliable. Now we're just going to let this dry and then we'll square it up and start laying out our hems. I'll be back. Alright, so the wax dried, and then I realized that I made this original piece too small because I started to lay it out, and I like to have it where it folds like this, would fold this way and have the pockets, and then I'll have a fold over the top, and I didn't leave enough material, and you'll see as I go. So I made a new one, and this one to start out with, again, this is rough, I didn't square it up yet. This is 10 1/2 by just under 9 1/4. So what I'll do is I'll take a square, I'll place it on here and get as close to the edge as I can. Hopefully that shows up. And again, this will be, you know, to your specifications. And I'll hold this down. As you can see, I have fingers on the square and fingers on the material. A very sharp utility knife. Cut that there. As you can see, when it's waxed, it cuts great. All right, I'll finish the other side and I'll bring you back. All right, so it's all squared up. We ended up with, what is it, 8 7/8 by 10 1/8. And again, it's going to be to your specifications. So now, the next thing we're going to do is, I like just a little over a 1/2 inch border because I'm going to do a mitered corner. Now, I've done a bunch of these, so I kind of made little things to help me along so I don't have to measure every little thing. Very thick canvas, but I'm going to put a link in the description to the person that I learned how to make mitered corners. I would suggest if you're going to make mitered corners, watch that video as opposed to watching what I'm doing, because like I said, I kind of just, you know, figured out what works best for me, but I'll show you what I do. So here I just have a nail file and I use this rounded edge to make the line, but I make a mark with this pointed edge. And what we're going to do is we're going to make a 1-inch mark and this is the advantage of waxing this first. Whoa. Because you can actually see the mark. Okay, so now I'll take this, place it on those marks, and then I'll take this end, just run it down lightly. Now while I'm still holding this, I'll lift this up. As you can see, I'm pressing my finger on the bottom. Then remove this, fold it over. And now you have your 1-inch line, okay? Then I come in, and again, this is all whatever you decide you want, okay? And I'll go, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7/16 in. And again, that's just the number that I came up with. I used to do a 1/2 inch, and it was just it got a little too bulky for me, so I went to this. Okay. Draw your line. And there you go. So I'll do that around all 4 sides and I'll bring you back. All right, so we got our layout lines. Now, according to the person that I watched, you measure twice this distance, which is 1 inch, along each bottom, and you're gonna make a diagonal line. But I just wanted to show you something. See how when I fold this over, how it almost reaches that 1-inch line? When I made this bigger, a 1/2 inch, it was way up in there because of the thickness of the material. That's why I made it a little bit smaller. Just wanted to mention that. So, like I said, you're gonna go, it's 1 inch, so you're gonna go 2 inches. And you'll make a mark, 2 inches and make a mark. To speed things up, I just made this little triangle that just speeds it up for me. I'll place this right in the corner. Line it up, and I'll draw my line. Okay? And it should intersect right into that line there. All right, hopefully that all shows up. Now, the next step you're going to do is you're going to fold this over, okay? And you're going to bring this around, and you're going to line this up. This edge right here. Okay? Hold that tight and then bring this so you have a nice crisp edge. Okay? Now, what I found is, because I'm probably doing something wrong, but I can't see that line. See that line there? It goes this way on the bottom. So what I did was, I've done it a few ways. I've taken a straight edge, I'll just use this, and I've laid it down like that, and I drew a line. I also decided I was just going to make a little triangle that would fit perfectly into that. So if I take this, as you can see, it lines up perfectly with that corner now. Take my nail file and just make a line. Now you can see that line very clearly now. If I lift this up, you'll see it matches exactly with the line that's on the bottom. Okay, so now I'm going to put a stitch right down that corner. I'm not going to bore you watching me sew, but so that's how I'll do it. So I'll just put a stitch down here, and I'll do that on all the corners, and I'll bring you back when I'm done with that. I decided I was going to bring you along with the sewing. I don't know how clear it is. My fingers will probably be in the way, but hopefully you get an idea. So I did 3 corners. I'm going to do this last one. So my fingers are probably in the way, but I made one stitch this way. Now I'm going to do a back stitch. Lighting's terrible in here. But hopefully you see that. All right, I'll bring you back over to the table. All right, so I got all the corners sewn. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to trim them up. And what you do is you come in and you're going to try to make like another triangle right into that corner. So you're going to go right across here. All right, don't cut your stitches. So you snip that off. Then come back and snip that off. Don't get too close to where you sewed, otherwise it's gonna rip. I'll do that, show you that one more time, slow-mo. All right. So now we have all our corners done. Now, we're going to have to turn this inside out. If it was regular fabric, you just flip it around, but I'll show you how this is so thick, it's a little tricky, okay? So what I do is, I have a little chopstick here that I just rounded off the end. You don't want to point the item. And I got my heat gun. And you can use a hair dryer or something like that. And I just warm this up. That makes it very pliable. Now if I see a little white there, I'll come in, heat it back up, take your little chopstick and you could turn that corner in. Now, as you can see, you get a perfect mitered corner. All right, I'll finish all 4 sides and I'll show you what that looks like. All right, so that's what you end up with. If you watched my video with the 1K giveaway and you saw the ground cloth, basically that's how you do a ground cloth. And you can make it, I have one that's, oh gosh, I think it's about 3 feet wide, maybe even 4 feet wide by like 5 or 6 feet long. So you can make it any size you want. Now, I rewatched some of the footage of me trying to show you me sewing, and it's just terrible. My hands are in the way, but so all I'm going to do now is I'm going to put a stitch line down here to hold this hem closed. All right, so I shall bring you back when that is done. All right, so we have that all stitched around. Now we're going to fold this into 3s. Okay, just like that. Now I'm going to take this back to the machine. I'm going to sew this up here, and we're going to have like a pouch. I'll bring you back when that's done. Oh, a little breezy out here today. All right, so now we have basically a pouch. Now we're going to separate this into 3 compartments. I actually probably could have made this a little bit smaller, but it's not going to matter. All right, so let's see. We ended up with 6 3/4. So we'll find 6 3/4, 3 3/8. Okay, so there's our center line. And what I'll do is I'll probably come in, again, this is all arbitrary, right? Whatever you're putting in it is what you make it for. So let's see. If I go make this middle section 2 inches. So the middle section would be 2 inches. Let's see what we have over here. We got about 2 inches. And this is about 2 inches. So I'm going to call that good. So now I just get a little square and I'll put it on that mark. And again, this is the advantage of the wax canvas. You could make lines like this and then they disappear later. Alright, so now I will stitch this closed and I'll be right back. Alright, so we have our pocket sewed. Now, if you don't like these lines and stuff, you can take this and just crumble it up. And give it that nice distressed look, which I happen to love. Or you can get your heat gun or dryer and you can take all those marks out. Press it nice and flat and you'll have it all brown. But I actually like that distressed look. Alright, we'll let that cool off a second. Now we have our magnifying glass, which I'm actually going to leave in this plastic. And our char cloth, and this is the plan, into there, into there, into there. And then our little pieces of fat wood are going to go in there. I don't know how many I'm going to stick in there, but let's let this cool for a second. Alright, so our magnifying glass will slip in there. A char cloth slips in there, and a little fatwood splinters. Yeah, you could probably fit them all. And there you go. Now you just take this, fold it over. I'm going to fold the magnifying glass part first so it gets a little protection. And again, you fiddle around with it till you're happy with the way it closes. And there you have it. Then you get a little piece of leather with a antler button. I have some videos showing me how to make an antler button. And there is your little wax canvas roll solar kit. And that is very, very lightweight. And you just pull off your little antler button, unfold it, and you have everything at your disposal. So there you go. And you can make this is exactly the same way I make them for the flint and steel. And you could pretty much make this for anything. If you didn't have a sewing machine, this certainly can be done by hand. It's pretty easy to do. And completely a DIY project. DIY, there you go. Well, everyone, thanks for coming along. I know you're expecting me to burn something, but you know we got to save this for a Fire It Up Friday. So be on the lookout. We'll get one of those out with this kit when I get a chance. So thanks, everyone. I appreciate all your views. I appreciate all your comments. I hope you all are staying safe. I hope you all are having a wonderful day. I appreciate you all. You warm my heart. Thanks again, and we'll see you on the next one.